Yesterday, I warned you that this downtrend was most likely continuing, but today we are officially breaking below my most important level of support, and on today's update video, I will talk about why I think Bitcoin is going to be falling lower, and I will be exactly talk about my targets where I think Bitcoin is going to be finding support. Also, yesterday, we saw the largest daily outflow on the spot Bitcoin ETF, which we have never seen before, so I will be talking about this, what it means for Bitcoin right now, my exact price targets, and many more important stuff we need to discuss on today's update video. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap that like button back up of 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. With that being said, let me get straight away in towards the content. So currently on the imminent short term, Bitcoin of course is trading clearly in a downtrend where we are clearly creating lower highs on the top side, which you can see on the 4-hourly time frame or on the 1-hour time frame. But what we can see is that every single time so far, once Bitcoin came back towards this downward sloping support line, we found somewhat of small little support for Bitcoin, but currently we're trading a little bit below it, so maybe we are going to be breaking this support line on the lower side. But let's say we do hold up this level, we could potentially create a new squeeze pattern here on the imminent short term, and potentially we could start to see Bitcoin having a slight little bounce here. But let me quickly say, I think that the bounce is actually quite unlikely since my targets are actually laying lower than we're currently trading, and I have said this for many videos in the past. I've said this in my previous video yesterday, but also in the videos before that we are clearly trading in a downtrend. And ever since this Saturday, I exactly told you that we should have a different approach to the market right now, since we are not trading in an uptrend right now, but we're trading in a downtrend. And what we want to be doing in this exact downtrend to maximize our potential profits in the upcoming days is trying to look, where is Bitcoin bottoming? And there is definitely some fundamental changes on this move towards the downside, because yesterday as well, we saw that the spot Bitcoin ETF had its largest daily outflow so far recorded yet, and the daily outflow I'm talking about was $326 million, and yeah, that basically came due to the low inflows on the BlackRock and the Fidelity ETF. But this is definitely a thing we should potentially be worried about, because while we were first seeing of course large inflows on the spot Bitcoin ETF, for the first time we have seen the largest outflow on the spot Bitcoin ETF. So the tides are changing, and potentially the people that were first accumulating Bitcoin are right now thinking, oh wait, the market looks to be a little bit overheated, let's wait a little bit on the sidelines. But once this trend is going to be shifting again, it potentially would also mark the bottom for Bitcoin. And yeah, once the trend shifts on the spot ETF, it is most likely already too late, because then the market is already bottomed, because the data is always 24 hours behind. So once the market is bottoming, would also potentially mean that the spot ETF is going to be buying again. And I have talked about this downtrend for many times before, and I've talked about my scenario where I think that Bitcoin is most likely going to be having a 20% correction, because you have to understand that 20% corrections in this bull market are going to be extremely normal, and a 20% correction this time around is going to be putting us somewhere between $58,000 and $60,000. And I've talked about this target for days already, and people in the comments, because I read the comments, said, oh wait, that is never going to be happening, that is a ridiculous low target. But you have to understand that these shakeouts are very normal in bull markets. And if I'm going to be looking at my Fibonacci retracement, ever since we broke below this very important support level I exactly talked about in yesterday's video, you can see that we of course once retested it, we saw a massive rejection, and right now we're once again heading lower towards my first support target, which is trading somewhere around that $60,000 level. So my next big support for Bitcoin is going to be $60,000, and I think that is going to be an extremely likely target that we're going to be hitting on the market. And $60,000 is also going to be of course in that region of the 20% correction. And like I stated many times before, in every single correction we've seen so far in this entire rally towards the upside, a 20% correction marked the maximum opportunity in the market. So yes, what I will be doing is that I will be opening up a massive new Bitcoin long position, and I'm going to be opening up a long position worth over $1 million because I'm very confident that Bitcoin is going to be finding some significant support around this level. And let me quickly explain about what my strategy is going to be for this position. So I of course want to be having the least amount of risk, so I'm not going to be use 20 or 30x leverage. No, I'm going to only use 5 to 6x leverage, and I'm going to start entering my positions from off the $60,000 level on Bitcoin. So I am going to be laddering in towards my Bitcoin long position, and I'm going to be setting up multiple orders, so I of course have a lower risk profile. And as the Bitcoin price is of course going to be dropping lower, I'm going to be having a higher risk profile. So I think that the maximum Bitcoin could be dropping is going to be towards this previous low here in the market, sitting around $58,000, and I think that level also actually makes quite a lot of sense, because the $58,000 is also exactly the 0.786 in the Fibonacci on the weekly time frame. If we're going to be looking back at the previous bull market on Bitcoin, we also saw, before we were breaking above the all-time high, of course we flirted with the all-time high, we broke above it, but we saw a big rejection of about 20%, but all the way back down towards the 0.786 on that Fibonacci, which in this case is going to be sitting around $57,000 to $58,000. So what I will be doing is that is going to be my level where I'm going to be opening up my max bids. My first bids are going to be sitting around $60,000, and I'm going to be having my final bet around $57,400, since that is a very important previous support level. And of course, usually Bitcoin tends to be wicking a little bit below it. And basically how I'm going to be entering my position is that I'm going to be first entering 20%, then I'm going to be entering another 40%, and then another 40% of my position. And that way, I'm going to be having the least risk as possible to open up a big Bitcoin long position and to catch that potential bottom, because I am not quite sure if Bitcoin is exactly going to be bottoming right here, or right here, or potentially right here, or potentially right here. And maybe I'm going to be missing out on my position. But like I said many times before, guys, my recent 6 trades I announced on this channel were all profitable. And why is that? Is because I've got a low risk profile, and I still managed to cash more than $20,000-$30,000 on every single trade with relatively low risk. And I am not looking for, a 100x or whatsoever. No, I'm looking for a reliable trade where I'm quite certain of that I'm not going to be losing my money, because the last thing you want to be doing is losing your money on a trade. And of course, this is what I'm going to be doing. But of course, you could also have your own strategy, but I'm just explaining what I am doing on this video, because this is no financial advice. I'm just purely showing you what my moves are going to be here. But guys, if you are interested in trading, make sure to go to Bybit, because Bybit is the exchange with the most amount of pairs listed, with the best volume on the derivatives market and spot market at the moment. So if you want to be trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, make sure to go to the link description of today's video, where you can find a link to Bybit. And if you write a sign-up account using that link below, you can claim a $30,000 deposit bonus. And without this link, it's only $400. So it's a massive win-win scenario. And yes, guys, if I'm going to be entering my trade, I'm going to also show you here on my channel. I will be, after this video, actually start to set up my orders. So we'll potentially also tweet about it. But more importantly, in tomorrow's update video, I'm going to give another update on all my exact levels that I've set. And I will be, of course, showing you my Bybit profile and the amount of money I'm using to open up this trade, because I want to be completely transparent. And it will also show you where I will have my ultimate stop loss target, because of course I'm going to be using a stop loss, because sometimes you just have to cut your losses in order to make more profits in the future. But like I said, my last 6 trades I took on this channel, guys, were all profitable. My last trade was approximately 2 months ago, and you know where the trade was? That was exactly on this bottom right here. I exactly called the bottom right here. I mean, I'm very good in calling bottoms in the market. That is one of my specialties, because, you know, you don't want to be looking at a short position right now here, even though we're trading in a short trend, because the macro trend is still in a significant uptrend. And I know we're trading in a bull market, and what you want to be doing is look for a good long entry somewhere in this trend towards the downside. And I think that I know what I'm doing, and I think that I know where to catch that big move here on Bitcoin. So what is also next? We're currently seeing Bitcoin retracing back in towards that daily EMA ribbon. And actually, if we're going to be looking at the daily RSI, we're seeing a massive reset, and we're seeing a massive reset across multiple indicators and multiple signals, because also the funding rates, like we can currently see, have massively resetted. Massively. We first have, of course, extremely high funding rates, and now since Bitcoin dropped so significantly towards the downside, we've already taken out a lot of it. And I think that Bitcoin is most likely going to be having a very strong bounce back towards the upside. And let me explain you why. Is because there's a lot of liquidity currently being built up on short side, and as a lot of liquidity is being built up on short side, I think that usually the liquidity is going to be taking out, and usually once that happens, that liquidity tends to taken out here. But a lot of indicators are resetting, and that is going to be allowing us to have a very good opportunity to actually start to accumulate Bitcoin at a fair value once again. And of course, if I'm looking back at history, last year Bitcoin of course didn't have really a rejection around all halving, but in 2016 we saw a slight little rejection around the halving, and currently we're just 26 days out before the Bitcoin halving is going to be here, which is around the corner. Less than 4 weeks, guys, we're going to be having the next Bitcoin halving, and usually the most exponential surge on the price action of Bitcoin always happens after the Bitcoin halving and not before the Bitcoin halving. So that is a thing you should be paying attention towards. And of course, like I said earlier in this video, we're seeing a slight rejection from all-time high, and the big support is going to be the 0.786, which in this case is going to be sitting around 58 to 57,000 US dollars. So once Bitcoin is going to be basically hitting below 60k, I think it's going to be a very good opportunity to actually start accumulating Bitcoin. And of course, it's not only going to be a Bitcoin that is currently on a sale, because altcoins as well, they are on a massive fire sale. And you have a big opportunity to actually accumulate some altcoins that you are interested in against a very cheap valuation, because the market is down so significantly. Because for example, if I'm going to be looking at AI, a sector which I'm very heavily invested in and where I see a lot of opportunities in, today it's down 10% here, the market cap of AI. And actually this is going to be bringing you an opportunity to actually accumulate against a cheaper valuation. So if you're interested in accumulating altcoins, like I said in the beginning of the video, guys, Bybit is the exchange you want to be going towards, and you can currently claim an insane deposit bonus if you use that link in the description, because Bybit has listed more than 433 coins, and Binance currently has only listed 77 coins. So there's more coins listed on Bybit. So if you want to be catching these new shiny AI coins, you should definitely go to Bybit. It is of course the second biggest exchange out there. It's a very reliable partner. So if you're interested, guys, make sure to check out Bybit. But anyways, this was it for me in today's update video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.